Alright, what is up, guys? Losing Manic here, and welcome to. It's strangely quiet. Anyway, let me adjust this. Welcome to a video where I review the show Hell's Kitchen season 1. Now this is. Now, I do understand this is a show I shouldn't be reviewing because it's been out for like years. I think the first episode came out when I was 7. I am now 19. And this show is, I think, still going. Maybe, I don't know. This is a really entertaining show. If some of you guys don't know what Hell's Kitchen is, it's a show with the meme god himself, Gordon Ramsay, depending on how you like Gordon Ramsay, then you think he's a meme lord. Some of the best memes have come from this show. But Hell's Kitchen is a cooking competition show where it's split up into two teams. It's not the battle of the sexes at first. The rest has, from season 2 onward, it's been the battle of the sexes. I've been watching a shit ton of clips. Plus, I've seen like episodes of people watching the show, or of people on the show, or episodes of the show. So I kind of have a major idea as to what the show is about. But as the number of people dwindles to final 5, they get a black jacket, which is like a high honor in Hell's Kitchen. And the entire time you're doing this, you're being, as the entire time the chefs are cooking for people, they're being screamed at by Gordon Ramsay, talking about how they're shit, calling them donkeys, which I could never be on the show because, one, anything he says to me, I fucking agree, and two, I have massive anger problems with being yelled at, so if I get yelled at, my instincts kick in and I fight back. So there's no, plus I'm a terrible cook, so there's no fucking, I can barely cook my grilled cheese. The only thing I could cook is fucking cereal. That's it. Because something always goes wrong when I cook food. So yeah, season 1. Like I mentioned before, I've watched a lot of clips, and I didn't realize some of the clips were season 1, or there was a lot more clips from season 1 than I thought. So coming into this, I first started off the series this season hating Jessica because I have seen clips where she, to me, it's all about good sportsmanship. If someone made a dish better than you, you accept it. You don't necessarily have to agree, but you have to accept it. You can be like, I disagree, but it is what it is. You know, a lot of people aren't like that though, and Jessica had that times 10. Now, I haven't seen the rest of the series. I'm currently on season 2. I'm almost done with season 2, so that means I could pump the season 2 review out today if I wanted to. So going into this, I hated Jessica because she had the mentality of my stuff is better, not realizing that there were some other people who were like that. Now you'll notice later on that some of these, there is one thing that Gordon Ramsay hates, and that is customers walking up to the kitchen area, and there have been 3 instances where this is a thing. 3, 4, maybe. I'll talk about that in a moment because one of my favorite people in this series has a tough time with this. With one of them, so instead of me reviewing each person, because I barely remember any of them. There's a girl named Carol Ann who left the first. I think who was the first one to leave. I barely know anything about her. So instead of just talking about each character, I'll talk about the moments, the ups, the downs, anything in between. So there's a character. I don't know why I keep saying character. There's a person named Dewberry. If you guys have seen this season, then you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. First of all, let me say, this is the first season of Hell's Kitchen. Nobody knows this show. A lot of the times, especially season 2 and up, they have a chance of watching the series, being like, okay, I'm familiar with this. This is season 1. People don't understand what Gordon's gonna do. Maybe they're gonna, maybe he's gonna judge them and be like, all right, this is what I would change or whatnot. No, they come in, they're getting judged harshly by Gordon Ramsay, and they're like, wow, who, who does that? Nobody does that. So they're being yelled at. They're having a tough time with it for good reason. You don't know what to expect, right? So, and then so later on, this guy Dewberry, he's being verbally harassed by Gordon Ramsay, saying you're useless and whatnot. Up to a point where Dewberry's like, yes, I am. See ya. It just walks off for like 5 seconds because so he's given up at this point, and then like maybe 3 seconds later, he's just like, no. He sees what's going on. He feels bad for the people. Turns around, walks back. The quickest ever anyone has ever given up, and was like, no, I'm doing this. It's weird, but in a way, it's kind of funny because he gave up that quick. You just sit there like, wow, this really has a toll on people, and it does. It has like a massive toll on people. Now I did mention before I did hate Jessica in the first half, or the first up until they reached the final 5. Because during the whenever they reached the final 5, there was a person I ended up hating the most, which I'll talk about in a moment. Now there was a guy named Jeff on the show who deals with who struggled with a kidney stone. In fact, he passed one on TV. That is very uncomfortable to think about. So because you never expect it, you don't watch a show coming in hoping someone passes a kidney stone unless it's a medical show. But this is cooking. This is the opposite of medical. This is medical food, but yeah, it's like doctors but for food. So you don't come in expecting someone or hoping someone passes a stone, but this dude passes a stone on national TV or on live TV. National, that's all over the world, right? Or is that just all over America? Anyway, on live TV. And so his pain got worse and worse, and I feel bad for him because he's being yelled at by Gordon Ramsay. He's fucking up in the kitchen, and then eventually he snapped and he just called him an asshole. Just calling Gordon Ramsay an asshole. Well, to be fair though, he didn't randomly just walk up to Gordon Ramsay and be like, "You're an asshole." No. Something had happened with Jeff that he usually at that point people would quit, but not Jeff, because he said he wasn't a quitter. And then he said, "I'm not a quitter." And then Gordon claps back with, "You're not a fucking cook either." And that was just, I was like, damn. But like, that was one of the things I've seen clips of. So I knew what would happen. So Jeff calls him an asshole, and then one of the sous chefs, which, by the way, massive problem with the chefs this season. Or just a massive problem with sous chefs, because I understand that they're working with amateur cooks, but some of them they get very annoyed with. Like, they have like this massive, I want to say ego problem, but I don't know what else to call it. So for the time being, until I find the word or whatever, I'll call it an ego problem. They have little patience for these people. Gordon Ramsay has some, not by much, but they have some. They have no patience for these people. They're one of those people where, like, Gordon Ramsay can either be your friend or your enemy. These sous chefs is just either your friend or your enemy, or your friend. The difference is they start off as your enemy. You have a higher chance of them becoming your enemy if you don't do the shit that needs to be done. And during this scene with Jeff, that's very much the exception, because the sous chef overhears what Jeff said or told Gordon Ramsay, like, "Hey, you're an asshole." When the sous chef hears that, and And she's like, I want you to say that louder, louder. And I'm over here thinking, you're the sous chef. Tell Gordon Ramsay that he called that Jeff called Gordon Ramsay an asshole. Don't make him do that himself. He's already pissed off with Gordon Ramsay, and so, um, so Gordon Ramsay overhears the sous chef wanting Jeff to call Gordon Ramsay an asshole a bit louder. And then Gordon Ramsay's like, what did you say? And then Jeff says, if you don't like me, I don't know what to tell you. You're an asshole. Exact words, because I've seen that clip so many fucking times. And then Jeff just walks off and doesn't come back. Now, he does walk off and doesn't plan on leaving, or doesn't plan on staying, but he had to leave for another reason. It was because of an injury, possibly the stone, because maybe there was another one or whatever. So with that, so later on down the road, I can't think of anything. So I ended up liking, there was a guy named Chris on the show who was supposedly an executive chef. And the entire time, anytime he fucks up, Gordon Ramsay's like, yeah, an executive chef, my ass. Which, I gotta give it to Gordon. The way Chris has been acting, I doubt he is an executive chef, because he should know the standards and whatnot. Especially during his signature dish where it was salmon roasted on a plank of cedar. That's not something. And the salmon came out raw, so that's something an executive chef knows not to do. He even says it's medium well, which, by the way, I didn't know. I know there was steaks and like meats and all that. You can have it like, well, with the exception of chicken, you can have it like pink, no pink, little pink, no pink, whatever. It's, again, with the exception of chicken. I didn't know fish was the same way. I know you can have it raw, but if you're gonna cook it, I didn't realize that like you can have it like medium well, medium rare, or whatever. So I'm sitting here like, that is raw. You made sushi. And then he was like, it's raw. And I was like, or he's, and then he's like, medium rare. And I'm like, you can have different levels of fish, because I don't know, because I understand that like fish is a poultry. But whenever it came to stuff like that, I thought like you could get like some, because I know with like chicken you can get like salmonella, or you can die from it, from like raw chicken, which is weird. But that's why I love chicken, I guess. But I understand that, like, certain fish, there are certain fish that aren't in sushi, so I figure like you have to cook those, because you could get like some sort of fish version of salmonella or whatever, if there is one. Like cod is, I don't think cod is in sushi, but it's one of those that's usually cooked. So I didn't know. So I'm sitting here like, this dude is an executive chef, yet he doesn't know how to cook salmon, because Gordon Ramsay said it's a little squishy in the middle, and he's like, it's medium rare. That's how I like it. I was like, you can't have a salmon medium rare. And then Gordon Ramsay didn't bring up the fact that you cannot have it medium rare. So I was like, okay, maybe you can. And then Gordon Ramsay said the salmon was raw. I was like, well, I guess you can. So yeah, the entire time I'm sitting here like, how has Chris gotten this far? There was one guy, Andrew, who I would talk about, where I was very surprised that he lasted as long as he did. Consider the fact that he's been on the block twice, which means he survived the guillotine twice, and nobody liked him. It was obvious. Even the voiceover dude said, and nobody's friend Andrew, so nobody liked Andrew. And there was one thing that made me feel bad for Andrew, which I'll talk about in a moment. But so Chris is eliminated. So now I had a huge respect for Jimmy. I went from liking Chris to Jimmy, and then this woman Elsie, who I remember the name because I made a joke that her name could have been spelled LC, like the letter L and letter C. You get the joke. And so And then so Jimmy's like this big guy. He's big, but he knows how to cook because he was in the final five. So I had a massive respect for him. So it's down to six. It's Michael, Elsie, and Jimmy versus Jessica, Andrew, and this guy Ralph. During this time was like the final time that I hated Jessica because I realized she's just doing what she can. But there was one who definitely did not deserve to be where they are, or where they were, because this season's no longer filming, obviously. Can you imagine going this long and still season one? Like from 2007 onward, it's still season one. These people are good. They have no way of. They cannot put people up on the block. It's been the same for couple years now. I am now 19. Whatever. So the final six, and Gordon Ramsay breaks the news that they are to create a menu of their own. So Michael, Elsie, and Jimmy, and Jessica, Andrew, Ralph go and make their menus. Over on the red team, Michael, Elsie, Jimmy are discussing what should be on the menu, and they're putting it on there. Now there are some disagreements in there, just as like anyone should, but they come up with a compromise. I want fish, or I want salmon. No, I want cod. Let's do tuna. All right. So something like that is how you make a proper fucking menu. And you guys agree, like, do we want to do this? No, let's try this. That's better. And you discuss it as a team. That's what you're supposed to do, and that's what they were doing. Some of the menus I noticed may have Michael, some may have Jimmy, and I think one would have Elsie because you're supposed to have an entree, an appetizer, and a dessert. So maybe one of each had one, or maybe two, and then one, and then Jimmy was like, I'm out, or whatever, but you guys do your thing. But on the blue team, Ralph, Jimmy, or not Ralph, not Jimmy, Ralph, Jessica, and Andrew, that's where that J came in. If one of them discussed something, or so Ralph was writing down the menu, and anytime Jessica or Andrew made a recommendation, Ralph would be like, nah, we're gonna do this instead. So Ralph had full control of the menu. Alright, and I'm kind of giving like a backstory before I tell you guys why I hate Ralph so much. I ended up hating Ralph, and I'm about to explain why. So Ralph, everything on the item was Ralph's. Unlike the red team where it was like Michael, Jimmy, and Elsie. Maybe they each had one. Like Michael had the entree, Elsie had the appetizers, and Jimmy had the desserts. So, and there was also another thing I did want to mention that kind of ties into the series that I feel is very important, but I'll finish my story on Ralph and then I'll just tell you. So, and then so Red Team is doing an amazing dinner service. Like, they are the first one, or they are the earliest people to complete a dinner service. So, or it's like a shit dinner service. And so, but Blue Team had it worse. So Gordon Ramsay's asking what the problem is and whatnot. And then Ralph throws Andrew under the bus, saying he had complete control of the menu. He had complete control of the menu. Now, at this point, I'm pretty sure Jessica wasn't trying to. She didn't do it with the full intention of trying to get Andrew out. It was just like it happens. But Ralph had full intent on taking Andrew out, and let me just say he succeeded. By playing the victim card and saying that Andrew had full control of the menu, basically what Ralph did to Andrew and Jessica, he's basically saying Andrew did that. Did that instead. Basically saying anything Ralph and Jessica suggested, Andrew would write something else instead. So, Ralph is already a complete asshole in my book because to me, I'm not into a lot of competitions, but whenever I am, if something is your fault, you should own up to it. And that's why I'm willing to admit to anything that may have been my fault, because I'm not a bitch. Oh, I am, but not that kind of bitch. And so, so it's elimination time. Red team is safe because they had an awesome dinner service. And when the time came, they had to eliminate. They usually with eliminations they put up two people. Gordon Ramsay decides, alright, this person needs to go. But in this case, since it was the final six, they had to put up one person, because if Gordon Ramsay said, "Hey Jessica, you're safe," it's gonna be obvious. All right, Ralph and Andrew need to go up. So it basically came down to I think Jessica was safe, but then Jessica had to put up one person. She put up Andrew. And then Gordon Ramsay said, "I want to hear from one person," which was Ralph. Gordon Ramsay said, asked Andrew why he should stay in Hell's Kitchen or explain what the hell going on. Which, by the way, personally for me, I think it'd be best if Gordon Ramsay asked them why he should pick them to leave, because they're gonna be more honest about it. Like why should I pick you to leave? Give me one thing or more. Just be like, I'm a terrible cook. That explains. It would be easier than just having this like 15-minute explanation as to why they should stay, which has happened, and it's god awful. Well, not 15 minutes, but like maybe 10 seconds when they're supposed to be given like 5 or 6. So it just takes forever. So I would say, instead of asking why they should stay in Hell's Kitchen, just ask them why they would want, or why they should be picked to leave Hell's Kitchen, because that way they'll be a bit more honest. And sorry, I'm trying to find my headphones, and I found them, and I want to keep them here. So they're trying to explain the menu again, and then for some reason Ralph takes full control and it makes this completely believable yet bullshit reason as to what happened, which fools Gordon Ramsay, which means he voted off Andrew because he believed that he had full control of the menu, didn't give them an opportunity, when it was Ralph that bullshit the whole story and made Andrew go home, which is the dumbest shit ever. So I ended up hating Ralph. So from that point on, I was just like, yes, Ralph is fucking up. He's fucking up, and I got excited. So I didn't want to continue, but first let me talk about what I mentioned with competition. So there's a certain set in stone rule for me, which is that if you win a competition, and there is obviously a person who is clearly second, and you get a reward, and you get to split it with someone, you have to pick the second greatest. It's good sportsmanship, and it shows that. And you're not rubbing in their face like, haha, I'm better than you, because it was obvious that you're better than them, but it just shows that you care about them, and at least at the end of the day, they can go out with some fucking dignity, because they were close. Now with this, there was a woman named Elsie who had 6 kids, which was insane, because especially considering the fact that the next season there's a girl named Polly who had 6 kids. I'm like, what's up with these mothers and their 6 kids on the show? She ended up going a lot further than I thought she would. There was one girl who didn't have restaurant experience, who made like this amazing chicken parmesan dish that looked like it was from a restaurant, and it was actually pretty good. I think she left the first episode. I think that was Carol Ann. So it was down to the final 5. Michael, Ralph, Jessica, Elsie, and Jimmy. Jimmy had won a competition, and Elsie came second. But instead of being a good sportsmanship and taking Elsie, he decided to take Michael over a compliment that Michael gave to Jimmy a couple of episodes ago. So, which okay, fair enough, but you have to bring the second place person because otherwise you're just basically making a deal with someone like, hey, keep me safe. This happens, but even if that's not the case, you should at least bring the second place winner. That to me is something that first of all, it happens in season 3 or season 2. Someone wins, they pick the second place winner because of respect, out of respect, which is a good thing. But then the guy previously made a promise to one of the other chefs that if they win, they would bring them, which doesn't happen. So now the guy gets all pissed off, because he doesn't know the code of competition. It's every man for himself, but if you win and you get to share the rewards with someone else, you have to pick second place. That's my rule. Fair game. Second you win, you share the prize. Second place. Share them, or second place gets the same thing. Or whoever you pick gets the same rewards of that area or of that group. Pick second place out of respect, because they definitely deserved it if they came in second, because they know what they were doing, but you were just a little bit better. All right. So, tip of the day, even though there would never be a tip of the day aside from today. If you're in a competition and you win, and the person says pick anyone from this group who gets to share the reward with you, who ask them, okay, if you don't mind my asking, who was close second? I want to know because I want to give that to the person. Then just be like, and then they will say, hopefully they do because that's respect. And then you give it to the second place winner. Tip of the day, follow that. Anyway, so now the thing is so Jimmy gets eliminated. I don't care about spoilers. It came out in 2007. All right. So Jimmy gets eliminated. Now it's down to Michael, Ralph, Jessica, and Elsie. There's a competition where Elsie wins. Now at this point, I should let you know Ralph has won one competition. All right, and he got a massage, and he was the biggest. He rubbed it in so many times. He was the biggest asshole when it came to that. They had to like deliver champagne or whatnot. The losing team had to like deliver champagne, and he was very mean or very aggressive. So Elsie won a competition. The rest had to clean, or I forgot what they had to do, but Elsie had to pack her knives and got to go on national TV, which is amazing. So the sous chef takes the losers over to a TV. They see what's going on, and like Elsie, that Elsie's on TV, and Ralph's first thought is, we're gonna fuck her over. This is why and that's another reason I started to hate Ralph, was he's been petty throughout this whole fucking thing, because he got a massage with his other groups, while all these people are getting, so he's won a competition. There's no need for him. There's no reason he should be salty towards losing on a fucking TV show, on a game show that's is it a game show? During a competition show where this shit's supposed to happen. You're not the winner. You're the loser. There were going to be winners. There were going to be losers. And if you were petty about being a loser, don't come on a competition show. So Ralph sees what's going on. And I should let you know ahead of time, if you guys haven't seen the show, one of the things that Gordon Ramsay wants people to do is communicate, right? If you're doing garnish and you need garnish for tuna, the garnish you would say to the person cooking tuna, how many minutes on tuna? They say 3. I'm like, all right, 3 minutes heard. I'll have the garnish ready for you whenever you do. By the time you're done with the tuna, they come up, deliver it, and then that's how you're supposed to do it. Like, hey, how long do you have on the meat? I have 3 minutes. I don't need 3 minutes. Is there any way you can do 4 minutes or 3.5? got it, whatever, right? That's how you communicate in the kitchen. So Elsie comes back, and now it's dinner service time. So whenever Elsie comes back, well, it's not she came back and like immediately it's dinner service. Um, so Ralph has this amazing idea of basically saying, we're not just gonna talk to Elsie. We are not talking to her because I'm petty over some fucking thing that I wanted. Alright? So, and keep in mind, some of the previous rewards were Vegas, spending time, or no, I think Vegas was last season, or this season, that I'm watching. It was a helicopter ride, a chance to drink wine with Gordon Ramsay, which I think Jimmy, Elsie, and Michael did, with Gordon Ramsay. And all of this amazing stuff, and like I mentioned before, the massage. So, being on national TV is a huge mark for them, even though they may lose the next day, which is something that Elsie does. But it wasn't her fault. It was poor communication. That's what they wanted. Which, can I just say, why do people shit on other people's passions? Shows like MasterChef and especially Hell's Kitchen, cooking is their passion. If you hate someone, don't shit on their passion. Don't try and fuck them over. Cooking is their passion. For all you know, they may go from cooking to being in a fucking circus because of some bitch who ruined their passion because she's competitive and they want to win and she wants to win. So I don't understand that. I understand people are competitive, but there's a certain limit to that. And then Ralph was definitely the same way. Cooking was Elsie's passion, and I honestly felt bad for her. Because and that says a lot, considering the fact that I was now a fan of Jessica, because while she did fuck over everyone, or while she did fuck over some people, she wasn't as bad as Ralph. He fucked over 2 people. She never fucked over anyone. She just went along with it. Ralph was the mastermind. Michael and Jessica were the accomplice. And Elsie was the victim. And she had enough. Now, at first, I was like, oh, she said they're not communicating. But then I was like, maybe it's her fault. Maybe she wasn't communicating in the first place. But, as it turns out, no, Ralph's plan was to not communicate with her, making her feel like the idiot and all that. So that was a fucked up thing to do. And so it was a competition. Ralph finally wins a competition, and he's expecting like a helicopter ride and all that. But I think Gordon Ramsay knew what he was expecting, or knew what he was doing, because he knew that Ralph has been salty about wanting to win a competition. So whenever Ralph wins a competition, he got to choose between beef, tuna, and chicken. Which, by the way, is like a massive fuck you to Ralph. But so, and then during like the side chat, Ralph's like, "What the fuck is this? This ain't a helicopter ride. This ain't a trip to the Bahamas. This is just me picking of foods." So Ralph is pissed off, and let me say, big props to Gordon Ramsay, because maybe he knew, maybe he didn't. And so Ralph is all pissed off. So I can't feel bad. Jessica ends up losing because Ralph picked beef, which was a smart choice. Michael picked, and since Michael was the second one to choose, since he was in second place, he picked tuna, which left Jessica with chicken, which is a very hard thing to cook. Which, to be honest, from how I've seen people cook it, how I've seen professionals cook it, it's kind of a surprise, but understandable, you know. It is chicken. Chicken is a very delicate thing to cook with, because if you don't cook it properly, you could kill someone or get them extremely sick. So, Jessica leaves. Now it's down to Ralph and Michael. And Michael has worked with Ralph enough to know what he's like. So, or because they were in the final five together, and so now it's down to Ralph and Michael, and then so they get to create their own restaurant because the winner was a restaurant. Which, by the way, Michael won. I did look up later. He's had some personal problems with like drug use and whatnot, and his restaurant last time I checked, which I think was like from a couple years after 2007. I don't know when, so maybe like 2010 or whatever. His restaurant is still working, but he's no longer there. He's no longer the executive chef. He's off doing his own thing. So, I think Michael's better now, so that's good. Now, just because I hate Ralph doesn't mean I hope he didn't do well in life, because it's a TV show. I just hated the way he acted. Which is kind of the direction I was going with Jessica in the first season was, oh, I don't hate her as a person, I just hate the way she's been acting, and that was definitely there. Which, by the way, I loved Jessica's hair. Looked like one of those like spiky ball things. I don't know where you could find those, but it's definitely it was really cool. It looked like it was like if you threw a balloon at her head, at her hair, it just popped. The balloon would pop the second it touched the hair. It was awesome. So they had to make their own sort of restaurant thing because that's what they would win. So they brought back certain people. It was Dewberry, Wendy, which Wendy was a weird one because she was a perfectionist, but her signature dish was the worst, or she had a terrible signature dish, and she forgot the potatoes. So she doesn't act like a perfectionist. She just says she's one. All right, so whatever, you know. So it was Dewberry, Wendy, Jimmy, Jessica, Andrew, and Elsie. I forgot about that. So there was a choice of 3 per. So Michael got Jessica, Jimmy, and Elsie, while Ralph got Dewberry, Wendy, and Andrew. So Michael got all the good people except for Andrew because he could only have 3. And I feel bad for Dewberry because, sorry, I don't know what the fuck that is. So Dewberry ends up, almost fainting, so he goes off. Andrew cuts himself, so now, and Ralph being petty, he keeps saying, we're down a man. Andrew gets himself together, comes back, at the last minute, and they do a good job. They do a full service. It's going pretty well. And so, because Michael and Ralph are no longer cooking, they're taking over Gordon Ramsay's position as, on the hot plate, so Gordon Ramsay's just watching and whatnot. Which, by the way, there's like an amazing part of preparing for the final night, where Michael's taking over Gordon Ramsay's position first, and then Ralph takes over and they practice and whatnot. And Michael turns over and says, "You guys cook like old people fuck," which means you guys cook slow, which is a funny thing I'm gonna use from now on. You're walking like old people fuck. You're walking slow. So I'm definitely gonna use something like that. So Michael has the attitude of Gordon Ramsay, but just not the aggressiveness or whatever. So they do their own service. Not Michael. Elsie and Jessica get into it. They argue. Michael's trying to break them up. It's not working. Eventually, they pull themselves together. And then Dewberry comes back, comes back from almost fainting, comes back, cooks something, gives the food to Ralph. Dewberry says this is full of fucking love. It's a good dish, by the way. And then Ralph compliments Dewberry. Ralph's like, you're this, you're this, you're this. And then Dewberry says, I wish you called me Brad Pitt's wife. Which is fucking amazing. because you didn't expect it. It's fucking funny. So yeah, eventually, which the weird part was I expected something like, okay, Michael won, so I expected something like, I expected Jessica, Jimmy, and Elsie to get something. Nope, not at all. At least not to my knowledge. If they did get something, I didn't finish the rest of the season because I was just like, Michael won. So, now I did want to move on to the customers because there was a few occasions where I was like, because if there's one thing customers know not to do is to go up and blame Gordon Ramsay because he's not cooking. Which I don't understand. They're so fucking stupid. They don't realize that it's not Gordon Ramsay's fault. He's not cooking. He's screaming at these people. Why would a chef scream at another chef if they're not cooking? So that should have come across easily. Gordon Ramsay's not to blame here. He's not the one cooking. So if you guys have seen like best Gordon Ramsay moments, then you guys will know about like some of these, like the pumpkins, the bimbos. If you guys don't, there was one guy who ordered pumpkin risotto but didn't get pumpkin. And then Jean-Philippe, which is my favorite person in this whole series, aside from Gordon Ramsay, because aside and also from some of the chefs because they're like a season only, but Gordon Ramsay and Jean-Philippe, I'm calling JP, because it's easier. So JP is like, oh, you wanna return even though you almost finished it almost. And then the dude's like, I just want pumpkin. So the dude goes up. Big mistake. Jean-Philippe follows behind. And then the dude's like, why is there no pumpkin in my risotto? And then Gordon Ramsay's like, I'll get you in a moment. And then he's like, there's no pumpkin in my risotto. And he's like, I just want pumpkin. And then Gordon Ramsay says, alright, I'll get you some pumpkin and I'll ram it up your fucking ass. Which is like a whole of dice. He says arse, but I'm American. And I don't want to be, and I'm too scared to say arse. Because I don't want to say it wrong. So I say ass. And so he goes back. There was another time, I think it was like the first dinner service. There was like these like beautiful women that could be on models, or who would be models, ladies of the evening. We'll say that. The way Gordon Ramsay was insulting them, they might have well have been ladies of the evening. So they go up. They were the first ones to go up, by the way. And it was like, where the fuck is the food? Where the fuck is the food? They're not. He's not listening to them. So Gordon Ramsay just says, and I quote, just ignore these bimbos. So they go back to like, oh, the righteousness, the disrespect of Gordon Ramsay, blah 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 blah. He told us to ignore us, and some of the people were like, "That's rude." And so they come back up. They're like, "We're leaving," and then so the other two women who were at the table decided to go up, and it's like, "We're leaving." You said you told the chefs to ignore them, to fuck off. And then Gordon Ramsay was like, yeah, sorry. So I wouldn't usually put that much on, but I'm trying to speak. And then Gordon Ramsay was like, yeah, tell them I meant that. meant it. And then they was like, oh, we will. And we'll do that as we're leaving. We're not coming back. As if that's supposed to bother Gordon Ramsay, because throughout the whole series, that doesn't happen. No one is there's not a table short. They're all filled out. As so basically them saying we're not coming back, that just fuck off for Ramsey. So and so there was one that kind of bothered me because for two reasons, because JP was assaulted, and the other one because the entitlement of the customers. So one of the customers is in like a group, like a massive group of people. It was one of the worst dinner services ever. I think it was one of those that was like the worst dinner services of Gordon Ramsay's career and Hell's Kitchen career. Or so so there these two people walk up and they're like, we haven't been fed in 2 hours. And then Gomez is like, well, do you see the problem here? Now go fuck yourself. Fuck off. so the girls and then so the girl and I think the dude's girl, the woman's boyfriend or fiance, husband, whatever, friend, I don't know. They walked back and then the woman said, yeah, he told us to fuck off. And then the dude was like, how fucking rude. How rude. So they start ordering pizza for the whole fucking table. JP respectively and for good reason notices the problem and gets in the dude's face for again good reason, because they're ordering pizza in a fucking restaurant. You don't go to McDonald's and order Domino's, or you don't go to a place like Olive Garden and order Domino's. If you do that, you're a horrible fucking person. I will say, unless it's for a party where they want pizza and the adults don't want pizza, they want Olive Garden, they can then talk to Olive Garden and be like, hey, do you mind if we do pizza as well? But I think Olive Garden would have pizza. They're an Italian restaurant. Pizza's Italian. Whatever. Um, but this is Hell's Kitchen. You don't do that in front of Gordon Ramsay. You might as well just be basically you might as well be making microwave dinner, because that's one of the things he hates is microwavable dinner or TV dinners. Um, and then so Jean-Philippe is like, you can't do this, and then one of the guys comes up, or because Jean-Philippe leaves, and he's like, if your mouth was as great as your mouth is probably as good as your education and whatnot, basically calling him stupid. And then the dude gets up and is like, I have an education, do you? Or I have a doctorate. Do you have a doctorate? And Jean-Philippe is like, I have an education. But the dude doesn't give in. He's like, do you have a doctorate? He's like, no, I don't. And he's like, I have a doctorate in music. I'm like, first of all, that hit close to home because I want to be a musician, so something like that kind of bothered me. But second of all, what does a music and doctorate have to do with getting food and thinking you have the upper hand? Yes, he made fun of your education, but that's just because you're being fucking stupid. It's clearly obvious you have a doctorate in music, because music doesn't teach you how to be a good person. At least if it does, I'm not fucking taking music anymore. I don't want to be a good person. I want to be an asshole, because there aren't enough of those. um, so yeah, overall great season. I like how it went from like reviewing the season to just talking about it. So that's the point. And then getting pissed off over it. There are probably a few things I am forgetting, such as the best moments. I am on season 2 right now, and I will say it's a lot more uncomfortable. Especially one of the people who has a massive crush on Gordon Ramsay, and it's obvious. So I am working on season 2 right now. I'm almost done. I'm on episode 8. They're like 10 episodes. A lot of these seasons have 10 episodes because there are 12 people. So that's a person gone for each episode. Although there's one with 16, so maybe there's 18 people there, which is weird because that's a massive fucking season. That's a massive group of people. There is one season I'm looking forward to, which is season 4, which I'd probably get to tomorrow. Knowing how I watch these series. Because there's a dude named Matthew or Matt whose signature dish is dire scallops, caviar, grated white chocolate, and capers, which is the worst combination he's ever had. And plus, there's a dude Petroza on there who is absolutely awesome. Um, and then there's like a season, I think season 16 or I don't know what season they're on or how many seasons. You can find it all on YouTube. Just search up like Hell's Kitchen full episodes, season 1, 2, whatever. They're all on there and they are absolutely phenomenal. If you guys like competitions, I definitely recommend this one. Speaking of which, season 2 is the one where the lamb sauce episode is in. You know, the one where he screams, "Where's the lamb sauce?" Which it became one of the greatest memes of all time of Gordon Ramsay. So, if you guys do want that season 2, I don't know what episode. I think it's episode 5. I don't know. It's still whenever like Red and Blue Team were a thing, so it's definitely may as well be season 5. There are or episode 5. There was one woman who I lost massive respect for because she used like the biggest excuse that I think you shouldn't use if once you're in middle school, and then from that point on, if you still use it, I lose massive respect towards you. Even though she was disrespected, I will give her that much. There was a better way to go at it than just saying that thing, which I'll talk about in my next video, which will probably be season 2. I'm also doing this because I ran out of Fallout ideas. I realized that my Fallout videos have been getting a lot of views, and which means people are actually watching them, which means I get to entertain you people or keep you guys from being bored, even though I'm probably boring. And I've been probably boring you for the last 51 minutes and 32 seconds, so whatever. So yeah, have you guys seen the season? Let me know what you think. And have you guys been watching Hell's Kitchen? Is there a season that you enjoy? So far, and it's gonna be obvious. So far, I'm enjoying season 1 because season 2 has the most annoying people there. There is one person that I'm surprised lasted very long. I will say one thing though. There was a person who was in season 2 who tragically passed away. I'll talk more about that in the next episode I do, or the next time I make a Hell's Kitchen review video. I do plan on so if you guys want to know my schedule the rest of the day, I do need to make some gaming videos because I won't be able to make videos next week since I'm going to be at my mom's house or my mom's apartment, and then the week after that, same thing. I will be back Monday with a new video, or the Monday after with a new video, hopefully. Or the Monday after the 2 weeks from now with a new video, hopefully. So that means I should be able to get some more Hell's Kitchen reviews, as well as figure out some new ideas for Fallout videos. I do want to try and find a way to transport videos from my PS4 over to a disk drive so I can upload them onto YouTube, because I do have a video made about a hidden weapon or an overlooked weapon in Fallout 4 that I feel like doesn't get much appreciation for. So I'm gonna have to find it. I'm gonna have to there's a disk drive or thumb drive I'm gonna need to find. So once I find it, hopefully I'll be able to make more videos or be able to start making videos on my PlayStation, transferring it over to the laptop. So yeah, be on the lookout for those videos. It is 10:31. Holy shit! I made this video at 9? Oh, what the fuck? That is... Maybe, no. Yeah, 9:40. Maybe around that. God, I usually wait till 10 to make videos. Although that time may be off by a bit. That alarm has been turned off so many times. Yeah, if you guys know what I'm talking about, there's like an alarm clock because I have my phone on a pillow. One of my pillows, and it's on my dad's bed. And on my dad's end table, there's an alarm clock, which he uses to go to work because that's what he does. So I'm like looking over, and I'm like, okay, I've been recording for this one. That means I started at this time. So yeah, be on the lookout for those videos. And hopefully by the next video will be Hell's Kitchen Season 2, because there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about there. Although I did say there was a lot of stuff I want to talk about this time, and it's just going to be the same thing. Talk about dumb moments, great moments, terrible moments, and let me just say straight off the bat, there were a lot of terrible moments in season 2 because of, God damn it. I'm not gonna say anymore. Just know there are a lot of terrible moments in season 2. So yeah, if you guys have seen Hell's Kitchen, what's your favorite season? Who's your favorite person also? Let me know in the comments down below. Sorry, who's your favorite chef? Because we're gonna say like JP or Gordon Ramsay. So any of the any of the contestants on the show, who was your favorite? So far I'm liking Michael. Also, I was liking Garrett. Season 2. I do have a couple people who are my favorite outside of those 2 seasons, like Sterling and Raj is an interesting character. And Petroza. Those are the 3 others. I don't know Matt well enough to judge him. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below. What's your favorite season? Who's your favorite contestant? And why? And also, yeah, if you guys have any video ideas I should do or talk about, let me know in the comments down below. Because I definitely do have some. I am definitely running low on ideas. That's what I guess that's why the 2 weeks just come into play. I can think about, would this be a good video to make? Would this not be? That's if. In fact, I don't want to talk about this a lot. That's actually where that whole Mini Lad rant video came from. Was because I was just like, would that be a good thing to talk about? Yeah, and it ended up being one of the popular videos of that week, even though my popular video of all time is The Last of Us Part 2. So, whatever. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry I went all over the place with this video. I kind of had to because there were some, like, rules of respect and competitions and whatnot. So, yeah, I'm definitely hoping that season 2 does get a lot better. Even though I'm, like, episode 8. Hold on, this, yeah, so the 4, that means, hold on, 8, 9, 10, yeah, so I'm at episode 8 right now, so hopefully, it gets better, for the rest of the 4 episodes, or 2 episodes, yeah, I was right. Anyway, let me know what you thought in the comments down below. I'm Losing Maniac. You guys are awesome. Like, subscribe, comment, all of that. Peace.